Good morning and welcome to the weekly analysis. We have quite a few assets on the list for today, so let's get started. First, we have AUDCHF. Ended the week bullish with a bullish order block. So we had the previous week low being taken out, and then the previous week high being taken out. So either price is going to pull back to this area, somewhere within this area, to continue buying. There is a, and let's see, from here to here, it's 42.73. So with that being said, let's look at the bigger picture and let's identify market structure. So let's identify structure. There we go. Okay, so we have a break of structure here. We have a break of structure here. Oh, I'm off. I'm way off. Hold on. Let me zoom in. Okay. We have a break of structure. And this is very important, guys, because I know what's my swing high, what's my swing low. Okay, price never closed below there. So our break of structure actually occurred over here. So all that is my swing. Learn market structure. It is the key to trading successfully. Okay. So then we have a break here. And then we have, there's no break here. Okay. So with that being said, all right, currently, this is our swing high. And we're looking at this on a higher time frame, but it's very important to look at the higher time frame to know where you are on the chart. Okay. So my thought is, because price has not broken this low yet, my thought is that price is likely going to, now let's look at the internal structure. So based on internal structure, we had a break, right? So internally, this is currently our swing high. Okay. Internally, that's currently our swing high. So my thought is that price will need to come sweep this low before price comes to sweep this high. It did sweep this low. Yes, yes, yes. But for some reason, I feel like it is and I'm just looking at like what price is doing right now. Okay. Based on what it's doing right now, it's looking like it's creating lower highs and possibly creating lower lows. We broke structure here, we pulled here, we pushed here, we pulled back. So I would definitely either wait for price to break above this zone here, Otherwise, I'm 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 looking at it and I'm just thinking that it's, although we have bullish momentum for the for the week, it could possibly be selling to the downside. This impulse move, I think, is just to get buyers in. And if it does buy up, my thought would be that it's going to buy up to this level of resistance to possibly sell back down. But as of right now, it's bullish. Okay. As of right now, it's bullish. So I, oops, I would be looking for price to pull back down, either to retest the break of this order block, violated order block, which is about halfway down this daily candle. It could come back and um, re it could come back and retest this daily zone here. Um, it could come back and retest here or here and then push up, or push down, push up, and then start selling back down. This is almost looking, let's see, yeah. I, for some reason, I feel like it's going to be selling. Um, but it is definitely bullish at the moment. So either you sell it down or to at least this zone here. And we're talking, I personally wouldn't sell it down. I would wait for price to pull back to one of those zones. Yeah, it's not enough. 35 pips. So for price to pull back to one of these zones and then show you what it wants to do before either buying or seeing if it's going to give you a bearish momentum for a sell. All right, that's what I see for AUDCHF. Next, we have AUDNZD. We have a bullish order block for AUDNZD. We can see the higher highs and higher lows. Okay. There is an imbalance here. There's an imbalance here that may get price to just pull back maybe to this demand zone for the week. Okay, so price may tap into there, pull back to the demand zone, and continue buying up to this supply zone. This is where, if you're buying, I would at least take it up to here. And of course, I would go down in time frame to narrow that zone. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, I would just buy it up to that zone. And but that would be the next target. That would be the next target. Although price swept, let's go to back to the weekly. Price swept this high. Okay, so you may get to pull back sooner than later, or once it pulls back to this imbalance here, or once it pushes up into this imbalance, then you may get the pullback. That's my thought for AUDNZD. For CADCHF, it was a bullish week. We have this demand zone here. Okay. Price could pull into this imbalance. If you're trading price action, I would be looking for it to come somewhere up into there, and then pull back to possibly continue buying up. Of course, I'm always looking at the higher time frame to see where I am on the chart. And we have, let's go to the monthly. All right, that's better. So we have a break here. We have a break here. And then we have a break here. And then one more break. And then we have a break here. Okay, so we had this internal break. We have this monthly candle becoming bullish. 6 days left in the candle. And although it is becoming bullish for the month, remember you're still in a bearish move. Okay, you're still in the bearish move, the internal bearish move. So price could come back to this imbalance and continue selling, could come and take out this low. So you definitely want to make sure that you are know where you are on the chart. So for this internal move, this zone right here is between the 50% 618. Could price pull back to the 78? It could. I consider this the institutional candle here. So and then let's go to the weekly. And then these are the last hold on. So it should be this zone here. I do the institutional candle. Actually, let me redo that. This is on here for me. For me, I prefer the 78 or the 88. So price could push up, like I said, pull back here and then push back up to this zone to either continue selling or break above this high and then start buying. But I do believe that there's going to be a pullback for a continuation of a buy at least up to the 78.88 or up to this supply zone. Okay. That's my thought on CADCHF. So I definitely, because it's so high at this point, I would definitely wait for price to come here, look for some type of change of character to then possibly sell it back down. So even if a pullback happened here, I wouldn't sell it because I think it would be going back up to here and then look for the sell back down to the demand zone. All right, that's CADCHF, CADJPY. The weekly was a bullish order block. We can see that based on the weekly, the high was swept. It did not close above. So let's see if we see any change of character on a lower time frame. So based on the daily, we have a daily bearish order block here. Price pulled into that and gave us another daily order block. Price then pulled back to the low of that daily order block. Let's go to the 4-hour, see if we see any. So there was the supply zone here based on the 4-hour. Price has tapped into that supply zone. There's a lot of rejection here. Let's go to the 1-hour. On the 1-hour, it's still kind of just consolidating. It did, like I said, it gave another some more bearish order blocks and ended the day with a 1-hour bearish order block. Let's see what the 4-hour. Okay, so on the 4-hour, it left some imbalance here. It left the imbalance here. It left imbalance here. Okay. So there's some imbalance that it may push back into and then push further up into this order block. So price could push back into here based on the 4-hour. And then, like I said, push back up into this order block, which if it pushed back up, I would look for it to at least push back up into to the wicks of this order block. Before a continuation of a sell. Or it's going to start selling. So price never broke. Close below this low on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour, it did close below on the 1-hour. So for me, the high would be this high here, but all of that has been mitigated. So I would definitely be looking for it to pull back. I'm sure if I go down in time frame, there's an order block somewhere within this wicks that hasn't been mitigated. Well, oh, here we go. Nope, that one's been mitigated too. So this one may just continue selling. We've got this consolidation here, 15-minute consolidation. Like I said, we have this imbalance here. So price may sell back down, maybe to this demand zone here. And let me change this so I don't have to keep changing. Okay, maybe to this demand zone, 15-minute demand zone here, and then push back up to the top side. Because as you can see, price was creating lower highs and then lower lows. And now it looks like price is starting to create higher highs, higher lows. It hasn't started the higher high yet, but there may be some kind of, and I'm going to say the word divergence. I don't use divergence. I don't understand. I mean, I understand divergence, but it may just be shifting around this way to continue selling or creating a higher low for a continuation of a sell. I do believe that price will be coming down to this demand zone here. If I look at, yeah, I believe that price is likely coming down to this zone before continuing to the top side. If I go to the higher time frame, let's go to the daily. Yes, I do believe that price is coming down to this zone here before a continuation of a buy. That is my thought for CADJPY and pretty much all the JPYs, that they're going to be pulling back before a continuation of a buy. Euro AUD, we have, let's look at the bigger time frame. So for Euro AUD, we had higher time frame pushed up to the 78 and then started giving internal breaks of structure. Okay. Wherever you identify your break of structure is on you. But this was the last high that got broken. This high here, but this was the last high and it didn't get broken till here. So so I consider all that for me the break of structure, higher time frame break of structure. So once there was a break here, then you could fib from your high to this low. So price is likely to pull back. It did pull back to the 50. It did pull back to the 50. And I do believe it is going to continue up. It may push down just a little more to take out this low, to sweep this low. So it may take out that low and then push back up to these highs somewhere, possibly the 78. I'm just going to take it to that area of support. I mean, resistance, sorry. But I do believe it's going to continue selling down based on the month. Again, we have 6 more days left in the month. So based on the weekly, we had a weekly bearish order block. It took out the previous week high and then closed below the previous week low. So I would be looking for price to took out this low, took out both of these lows. So I would be looking for price to push back into this zone and then continue selling down to this low. And because it's tapped into this order block, like it all makes sense. Took out these lows, it all makes sense for price to start buying up and then continue for the sell. So if we go to the 4-hour, let's mark up the weekly order block. Let's go to the daily. Now, I do want to say, based on this here, now, although we have this sweep of this low and we have this order block here, the actual because you want your supply and or demand zone to be at a peak high, right? Price, although price closed below these lows, it is not the current swing because price hasn't broken this low yet. So price could pull back into, so we had this break here. We had this supply zone here, which price pulled back into. Then price started breaking down. It would be nice to see that it closed below here, but this is the current supply zone. And I'm just going to erase this real quick. This is the current supply zone, which price did pull back into. However, if I go down to the daily, this would be the zone for me. This would be the zone for me. So again, we swept here. We swept these lows. Depending on what happens in the next few days, next week, price could tap here, continue without closing below this low, and then start buying back up to this zone. This is where I would be looking for price to buy back up to. And yes, you have this zone here, but it is internal. It hasn't, the actual break of structure happened here. So if you know market structure, you know that this, if this was the break here, that everything between this break here and to the peak or to the high is the swing. So this is the swing high here. Okay. That's the swing high there. This is a swing. It's an internal swing, but price did not break this swing until right here. So everything from here up on up is considered part of the full move down. Okay. So that's what I would be looking for, depending on the day, how the day ends for the buy back up to this zone. And if we're looking from where price is now, that's approximately 400 pips. So that would be a nice little buy up. All right, EUROCAD. Whoop, whoop. EUROCAD. Let me delete that. So look at higher time frame. Based on higher time frame, we have this breaker structure here, and we have this breaker structure here. Okay, so this was the last swing high. Price pushed past that high. Okay, and also if we are fibbing the higher time frame move, so all this would be part of the move to the downside. All right. Price did not pull back to the 78 at the moment, but price pushed into the 618. This is probably around the 75 or something. There was a zone here that price pushed back into. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was imbalance. This was imbalance. Okay, there was imbalance there. So there was a supply zone here that price pushed back into. I don't think it went that far, but oh yes, it did. Okay, it did. The price pushed back into almost at the 78 and then started breaking structure to the downside. Okay. So now that you're having breaks of structure to the downside, and the first break for me would have been right here. All right, so that means all of this actually all of this would be my zone. Okay, so price is now pushing back up to the zone. Price pulled back to, as you can see, there is some liquidity here, and I'm just going to mark up I usually mark up the institutional candle. So I would definitely look for price to be pushing down to here. As you can see, it has broken structure here. So now we got a full pullback, and we can fib this move up from here to here. So I would be looking for price to pull back to the 78 before continuing up to this negative 27, which is also confluence with the 78 of the move down. Okay. So that's my thought on EUROCAD. So even with that being said, we had a close below this weekly low. So price could push back up into the zone and then sell back down to the 78. It did take out this low, took out this, there's this liquidity here. But I would definitely be looking for, or it can continue selling to the 78, push back up into this zone, pull back, and then continue buying. That's what I have for EUROCAD. EUROCHF. Let's see. Why did I thought we did this already? No. EUROCHF. Again, always looking at higher time frame, where we are in the higher time frame. I also look at market maker cycle. YouTube it if you don't understand it. I do know that the cycle is pretty much pretty much complete. So taking out this low for me is enough to say that price is probably likely going to be, so this was the last break here that made this the swing high. Okay. So with this sweep here, I would be looking, let's go down to the daily. Okay, now let's go down to the 4-hour. Okay, so we got a daily bullish candle, but let's see what the 4-hour is given. The 4-hour is giving us a 4-hour order block. So I would be looking for price to definitely pull back into this zone somewhere. This was the last down candle, and push off for this up move, for this internal breaker structure here. So I would be looking for price to pull back to this zone to continue buying. Covering this protected low. That's 58 pips. And then I would be taking it to these highs. Of course, you can do a TP1 here. There is a 4-hour, you can see this 4-hour order block here that hasn't been tapped into, so it'll probably come there, it'll pull back. But so I would probably take a TP1 here. Once it hit this and pulled back, then take your TP2 here. And there's another 4-hour order block here. And then take your TP3 to this high. Or if you're a swing trader, then you'll hold it up to this high. Based on the last swing, this was the last break here. And so that made this the swing high. Okay. GA. Always look at higher time frame first. So based on higher time frame, we had these breaks of structure here, breaks of structure here. You can count these here, breaks of structure here. And then I wouldn't Well, I guess you could. You had a break of structure here. And then a break of structure here. Okay, so once you had this last break of structure here, then this would have been your high. Okay, price broke through, price pulled back to that zone, retested that zone, and okay. Price pulled back to this demand zone without breaking this low, and it's starting to shift, give a market structure shift. So we had a break here, and then the shift happened right here. Okay. So price will likely pull back either to, and I'm basing a lot of this information off of the market maker cycle. Okay. So once we got this break here, price will pull back probably to this zone here. As you can see, the monthly candle is possibly ending a little bearish. Again, we have 6 days, so anything could happen. This could just be a pullback to, this could just be a pullback to the 78 of this bullish candle for a continuation. Or if price closes, I won't know until it happens, right? So let's go to the daily. If we're looking at the daily, because price, although price broke, that was my high. Right, and then we had this high here. Price has not broken that high yet. It wicked it. Price broke these internals, this internal here. So price could be selling back down to this zone here, to then start pushing back to the top side. Because technically, and that's my fault. Technically, I would not be fibbing this because this is my high. This would be the high I needed to break before I fib anything. So, and price didn't break this high, and of course hasn't broken this high. I'm not fibbing anything until one of these highs are broken. So I would definitely, as you can see, there's liquidity here. So there's liquidity here. So I would definitely be expecting price to pull back to this zone and not here. Based on the daily, you have imbalance here, you have an order block here. So this is where I would expect price to pull back to before buying up. So with that being said, on the daily, we have a daily break of this low, close below. Price could pull back into this internal demand zone. Okay, price can pull back into here and then continue selling down to, this will be the TP, the first TP right here. It's key level. So we're talking approximately, depending how from here to here, is about 200 pips. That's my thoughts for GA. GJ. J. So for GJ, for me, this was my last push-up. So I'm expecting price to pull back to the 78 or even the 88. It makes sense to the 88 because of the wicks. Okay. That's where I'm expecting price to pull back to. And then if I go down to the 4-hour, let's see if we have, so we definitely have a demand zone here. Let's go to the 1-hour. Yeah, I would be looking for price to at least come down to here. This one has already been mitigated. Let's go to the 15, see what it's looking like. That has already been mitigated. There is imbalance below there. This has already been swept. So I would definitely be expecting price to come down to here. That's where I'm expecting price to come back to. So once price is back down to this zone here, and I'm going to put my alert. Oh, sorry. So as we can see, based on the date, let's start from the weekly. Even on the weekly, price closed below the previous week low. So a pullback for a continuation. And maybe this won't come back up to this zone here. Maybe it'll just pull back because now this is a key level. This is definitely a key level. So price could just push back into this zone here and then continue. Maybe even based on this daily, just wick into the imbalance and then continue selling. And that's my thoughts for GJ. For NAS, we have NAS. We had the break of this high. Okay. We had a bullish order block. We ended the week with a bullish candle. However, it did not create a bullish order block. So we could get a bearish week next week. So let's mark up this order block. Could get a bearish week down to the wicks of this order block here. And for a possible continuation. So this could go here for a possible continuation to these highs. Of course, we don't have anything to compare it to. If we go to the so yeah, I would definitely be looking for buys or a pullback for a continuation of a buy. If you're counter trend, if you're counter trending, you can definitely grab you some pips. So as you can see, if I marked up my daily key level, This would be it. Price is at that level. So let's go to the 4-hour. It's meandering, so the 4-hour isn't giving me much of anything. Again, you could get a bearish 4-hour candle. So I would be looking at the 4-hour at this zone. If I were to be selling to close below here, pull back, and then sell down to this zone. Or if you get a bullish candle to break above here, then I would look for the pullback to then continue buying. But I do believe that price would have to definitely close above this high if I'm going to continue buying from here. So we'll see what the 4-hour candles give next week to determine if we're going to buy or sell from this zone. All right, SPX based on the weekly, same thing for the weekly. We have this key level here. Last week bought up, didn't break above these highs, so we could get a bearish order block back down to these lows to then continue buying. Okay. US 30. US 30. So we had a break of these highs here. And last week it took out the low. All right. And so price could come and take out this high. As you can see, there is no pullback on this candle yet. So let's go to the daily. It's looking bullish. So based on the daily, broke the previous day high. So price could pull back and then take out this high. But that's what I see for now. Some type of pullback to here and then to these highs right here. That's US 30 for oil. Let's see, based on the weekly, oil has been sitting at this key level for some time now. Okay. It gave a weekly bullish order block. However, based on structure, there's a lot of noise going on here. If I were to buy oil, I would at least need to see it violate this order block here. So break above this high, wait for a pullback. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, it's still very bearish to me. Even with the break of this high, because this technically has not broken this low. So this is really not the high here. So price could pull back into this supply zone here. Price could pull back into the supply zone here and start selling. So even with it breaking this high, price could pull back into this zone and then push back down to these lows. to consider. It's still very bearish, even with the bullish week. Even with the bullish week, it is still very bearish. So if I were trading, and I don't consider, so let me just make it clear. Yeah, this has been very, we started getting so higher time frame, price broke here, which made this the swing high. And then once price broke here, okay, then that made this the swing high. Now, that high got swept, did not close above. So it is, yeah, it's still very bearish. It's still very bearish. So I can see it coming here, coming back down to this zone. Really, I can see it just, again, playing in between this zone until it's either going to break below or break above. So that would be, let's see, let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour didn't even break above. So there's an order block here. Has a 4 hour order block here. Hasn't been tapped into. So price could go up there and then continue selling. That's my thoughts for US oil. As of right now, it is bullish. So based on the daily, So based on the daily, price broke above the daily high. What was the weekly? Okay. Price broke above the daily high. So you could get a pullback for continuation up to these highs. Somewhere up in here. All right. Last but not least, we have gold. So we've had let's mark up our swings. We had a swing here. Okay. I had a break of structure here. We had a break of structure here. Okay. And then we had this break of structure here. All right. Or change of character. Let me do a market structure shift here. Market structure shift here, and then a market structure shift here. Okay. So because we had that market structure shift, we can fib our move. All right. So we have a supply zone at our 78. So price could come into this zone and then start selling. Price could push up to the 88, which is another supply zone. Both of these are in the premium area. So this, I would be looking for change of character in either one of these zones before getting in the sell. So if we go down to the 4-hour, yeah, I would definitely be waiting for, because we have the consolidation here, my guess is that price will probably tap here at the 78 and then start giving you a change of character and not closing above, not going above this high right here. So, and it could go to the 88. It could, this is still the 88. This zone is closer to, almost reversing. So somewhere between the 78 and the 88, I would be looking for a change of character to then start selling down to this low. So from this zone to here is more than enough. Now, of course, I would probably take it down to the -27, but I would definitely take it here first. And if we go to the higher time frame based on the weekly, this is where I would be expecting price to push down to, which again is your TP1 or the low. Now, I will say this, the way this weekly, because this tapped into imbalance, right? The way this weekly candle gave so much bullish momentum, and there's really no bullish order block. This could continue going, but based on market structure, price action, this this could yeah, this could keep going. Now, I will say here, this is a high that price has never pulled back to. This would be the optimal trade and entry. So if you fib this whole move, and let me delete this. If you fib this whole move, let me delete these, I forgot. This would be a nice place for price to come back to. So you have this zone here, this high here for price to come back to. There's an order block there, a weekly order block. So price could pull back to there. Okay. And I'm going to I'm going to mark up this zone here. There's also this zone here. But if you look at the higher time frame, so from this low here all the way to the current high here, this would be the 61%. Of course, this would be the premium area. The discount area for price to pull back to. At the 78, you have imbalance and an order block there. At the 88, this would be the optimal trading zone right here, some between the 78 or the 88. Let's see what the monthly is. So we have the 78, there's an order block there, and then you have a demand zone right here. Imbalance and an order block based on the monthly. Will price pull back there? But that would be an optimal trade and entry. That would definitely be an optimal trading. Woo, that would be nice. Anywho, I think that is all I have for today. If you have a pair that was not discussed, please drop it below and we will attempt to do an analysis on it and load it to YouTube. Thank you for joining and happy trading, everybody.